Hello and welcome to the coronavirus update for the 21st of June 2020. Almost the summer solstice, which means we are almost now 3 months in to the pandemic. And somewhat more if you include the early stuff. But it's about 3 months since I started seriously following the data on this. And we're up to now almost 10 million reported cases in the world and 500,000 dead. So at this point, I'm sort of, I reckon this is probably going to plateau out at 2 million if everything gets sensibly under control. So where are we at? We had the first wave, which was China. Then it died off and it looked like it was contained. Then we had the resurgence. Then we had the outbreak in Italy, which very quickly spread throughout Europe and most of America. And then it sort of plateaued for a bit. And this is now the cook-up in all the remaining countries, which are now number 2, 3, and 4 in the world. Places like Brazil, where Brazil is now, in terms of reported cases, number 1 by a considerable margin. They're up at 50,000 cases per day on 2/3 of the population of America, whereas America is about 20, 30k on more people. If you take a look at Russia, this data looks awfully smooth to me, but whatever. And India finally looks like, for a long time, India had 1 dot and not many cases. Is basically because they weren't really reporting, and these numbers are probably significantly underreported in India, and they're up to about 15,000 cases per day. That's on a population of about 1 billion. And then we come to the last of the countries in Europe, who looks like they might finally have got it under control. It's starting to look more sensible for the United Kingdom. And everywhere else in Europe, it looks fantastic. There was the outbreak and they got it under control. And Italy, there was the outbreak and then they got it under control. Still takes, March, April, May. Still takes, 2-3 months to do this. Or Germany, again, a bit of a resurgence, but it's on a very small number of cases. And so forth. And China is a long way down now. Look how far China is down the table. Qatar, you got to be kidding me. Qatar now has more cases than China. And China, you'll recall, they've recently had an outbreak in Beijing, which they instantly took very seriously and started locking all sorts of stuff down. In terms of getting under control, though, America looks like it's going for wave number 2 without really even getting wave number 1 under control. So this looks like it's starting to really cook up again to me. Right, so you'll recall that I've been following the ratio of total confirmed cases to global deaths. Been doing that for some time. And where are we? And that's this curve here, right? So this is the total number of cases in the world, which are now almost up to 10 million. And this was the, your chances if you got the disease that you would actually die from it. So it sort of goes up and it comes down again. This is mostly because people are getting better at diagnosing the disease. So the effective death rate comes down. And you can look at the sort of death rate between any two points. So you take a look at the number of extra cases you get, you take a look at the number of extra deaths you get can get a sort of instantaneous probability of dying from the disease. So that actually went up to about 10%, and now it's down to about 1%, starting to flatten out. But of course, these are averaged across the entire globe. So you got to have some flexibility with how you interpret these numbers. The real number, of course, it's likely. Most of the professional estimates I've seen have the death rate of the virus pitched between 1 and 2%. So, what does this say for America? So I had initially thought that, well, you take these numbers, what they're actually telling you is your diagnosis rates are 5 times worse here than they are here. Which means that the reality is that the American cases actually spiked up to about 5 times the height. Now they're sort of crashing down as the detection's getting more efficient. So this is just extrapolating the world numbers on to the American situation. However, the prediction from that is that the American cases would then sort of shoot down, and you would actually get an accelerating rate of decreasing cases. That's not what you're getting. You're getting a resurgence here, which is bad news bears in America. Now, so this was the chart that I had been following, which I just about decided that I was going to abandon because of this change in the detection rate. This is the number of new cases per day in thousands, and from the very early data, my predictions were America would get down to the line where the state of emergency was declared. It's like 500 cases per day or something, in about 4 months. From America hitting the peak. And then I extended it to 5-ish months. Now you can see that this isn't coming down anytime soon. I mean, you can extrapolate this out to, 200 days is here. So a year is basically, if I do it, a year would be out to here somewhere. This curve is not going to flatten out for an extended period of time, most likely. But there is another way that we can actually look at this data, and that's to look at the number of people who are actually being diagnosed as dying from the disease, which you might think are they're somewhat more robust. They're still not perfect, So you get some people who are thrown into the category of dying from COVID. Even though they get hit by a car or something, they still have the disease, therefore they're categorized as this. And then, on the flip side, you get people who just die and are never diagnosed with it, and therefore they're not counted. But, I mean, let's just take these numbers as kind of accurate. So these are the day-on-day deaths in America from the coronavirus, which peaked out at about 2,000, instantaneous days. It was getting up for 3. This is sort of a 9/11 per day type death toll, just to keep it all into perspective. And this was my prediction. The blue lines were my prediction of where this was going to go. And it looks to me, this is now a significant deviation. If you take a look at this is a scatter of points above and below my prediction. Is about, that's what you would expect from a good prediction. There's some noise on it, but the prediction, the data is basically going where the prediction was, except for this. This looks like it's going to just extend out, getting on for 1,000 deaths per day, or a 9/11 every 3 days for the foreseeable future. Until something changes in America that gets the virus under control. And I'm not seeing it. Everyone is making noises about reopening the country. I even saw Tucker Carlson, who is apparently now the number 1 rated news presenter in America, saying that now all the lockdown was a waste of time. Shouldn't have even bothered doing that. To which the simple answer is, congratulations. You'd be looking more like Brazil now than this. This was all brought to you by the somewhat contained shutdown. I still don't have a sensible explanation for why everywhere in Europe seems to have this far better under control, every single country in Europe looks like this. Actually, this is maybe an interesting time to do the comparison between Sweden, who you'll recall basically went for the policy of herd immunity. And they've got 56,000 cases and 5,000 dead, give or take 10% death. Mortality ratio, and they're cruising at 1,500 a day. And we're going to compare that to the country right next door to them, which is Norway. And so Norway is 1/5 of the number of cases, but the deaths are staggering. It's 1/20th of the number of deaths in Norway compared to Sweden. And both of these are sort of fairly low population density countries anyway. So they've, if you like that, they've got a natural immunity, or compared to more populous countries. Or let's try Finland. I've not actually looked at Finland. There's Finland. So Finland is almost the same in terms of Norway in terms of cases, and in terms of deaths, almost identical. So if you want to follow the Sweden strategy, it looks more or less like it's a factor of 20 in death toll, which, you take that up to countries like America, you'd be looking at about 2 million dead already, ish. Anyway, and Brazil, they're still in denial about it. There's a lot of red on the map, and this ain't going away anytime soon. So, I wish you stay safe. And thanks for watching. If you found it useful, be nice if you drop a like on the video, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.